Churches can be driven by their own desires and convictions of the pastors, or they can be driven by the desires and convictions of the church members. Let's first look at some examples of churches driven by the pastor's desires. Keep in mind that I'm sharing from a trusted authority in the field of church growth. These are his observations. The soul-winning church. If a pastor sees his primary role as an evangelist, then the church becomes a soul-winning church because that church's main goal is to save souls. It is always reaching out to the lost. The terms you're likely to hear most often is that the church are witnessing evangelism, salvation, discussions of Christ, baptisms, visitations, altar calls, crusades. In the soul-winning church, anything else other than evangelism is regulated to a secondary role. The experiencing God church. If a pastor's passions and gifts lie in the area of worship, he will simply lead the church to become an experiencing God church. The focus of his church is experiencing the presence and the power of God. Key terms for the church are praise, power, prayer, worship, music, spiritual gifts, and revival. In this type of church, the worship service revolves more around attention than anything else. The family reunion church. A church that focuses primarily on fellowship. The family reunion church. This church is shaped by the pastor who is highly relational, loves people, and spends most of his time caring for members. He serves more as a chaplain than anything else. Key terms for this church: we love, belonging, fellowship, caring, relationships, potluck, small groups, and fun. In the family reunion church, the gathering is more important than the goals. Of those three church, which one most applies to you? Which one most applies to the type of church that you go to? Or do you go to a church that is out to see the glory of God being performed? And not that it's all about you, but it's all about God today. And that's what it's all about. It's not about how many seats are empty. It's not about how many seats are full. It's not about who preaches that night or who sings that night. It's all about seeing souls saved, set free, and delivered, and set apart. It's all about fulfilling God's promises in this land. And it's all about obeying Him today in all things. Realizing that we don't always have the answers, but He does.